Do we really need organ meats? Let's talk about that for just a moment today, guys. Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. Normally I'm out walking up and down the street, but today is Saturday. I worked last night, and I have to work again today, so I'm just standing out in my front yard getting some earthing in, getting a little sun in the eyes, doing all the stuff that I like to do. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Basically, what you're watching is my journey. I started this way of life a little over 2 years ago. And I'll go ahead and throw a clip in from my first video since starting the carnivore diet about here so you can see what's happened. Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. Welcome back to the channel. Before I get into today's topic, I'm going to give you a very brief recap of what happened to me over the last year and some change and why I haven't made any videos because of it. I'm just an old retired truck driver. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. These are just my thoughts about things that come up while we're trying to follow the carnivore lifestyle. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. I'm glad you're here as well. It means a lot to me that you choose to spend just a few moments of your day with me. I'd like to ask you all to help me out just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop down in the comments and say hi, Bob. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All of these things help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I am 61 years old and doing things that I couldn't do when I was 40. But let's very briefly talk about this organ meat thing. For those of us that, that follow Professor K, are organ meats necessary? No. Now, there are a lot of schools of thought that a little bit here and there is not a bad thing. And I agree with that. If you like organ meats, go ahead and eat them. Just be very careful with how much of them you're eating. Think of it as a proportional thing. Now, there are lots of people out there that will say, oh, well, all of the ancient people, and even some of the more modern, or should I say contemporary cultures, they claim that these people eat nose to tail, when in fact, most of the organs and entrails and that kind of stuff, they give to their dogs or other animals. So if you just think about, regardless of whether, you're back in the deep ancient past hunting a woolly mammoth, or today you're talking about a cow. If you think about how much meat and fat there is on a cow versus how much liver there is, I mean, yes, a cow's liver is very big, but compared to how much meat is available through the entire animal, if you were to try to have some liver every day off of an entire cow, it would be just a little tiny piece because there's just not enough of it there. So I don't think that liver is required, but I also think if you enjoy organ meats, there's no reason not to eat them as long as you're a little on the careful side with them. And when I say the careful side, now again, I have no proof of this. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. But there is a certain person who pushes liver supplements and has a channel and ran into problems with the carnivore way of eating, and now this person eats a bunch of fruit and honey because this person is convinced that that's what it takes. I'm not saying he's right, I'm not saying he's wrong, but certain other people suspect that it wasn't actually an electrolyte imbalance, it was copper toxicity from the massive amounts of organ meats he was shoving down his throat. What's the correct answer? I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows unless, if you were a doctor and had blood test results along every step of the journey, you might be able to figure it out. But that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is just about organ meats and whether or not we should have them. Like I said, if you want to eat them, I don't think there's anything wrong with them, as long as you're eating them in the correct proportions. Today is Saturday. It's time for weekly wins. So drop down in the comments and tell me what your weekly win is. And for me, my weekly win is I got to be lazy this week. The grass should be cut again, but because they're calling for really hot temperatures, nothing unusual for Nebraska this time of year, but because we're coming into a very hot weekend, I left the grass long, and I'll cut it when it cools back down next week. So my weekly win is I got to be lazy and didn't have to cut the grass this week for the first time this year, because we've been getting so much rain that it's been on the mowing the grass every 5 days or so cycle since spring got here. And now, hopefully, it won't rain quite so much and I'll have a chance to get some other stuff done. But that's what I've got for you today, folks. Don't forget, drop down in the comments. Tell me what your weekly win is. And also get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.